We have a lot of folks watching who are ardent XRP, enthusiastic.
It's, better, faster, cheaper. Yeah. But of course, you got to cross this threshold and get to these.
Hey there, future millionaires. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to see you again. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you're tuning in from around this incredible world of ours. Now, I've got some big news to share with you today about XRP. And trust me, you're going to want to hear this. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive right in. This comes straight from Michael Branch, and when I saw this, I literally had to do a double take. The DTCC, that's the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation for those who might not know, has just listed 9 XRP ETFs as spot products, and they're getting ready for launch. I mean, can you believe that? 9 XRP ETFs. This is exactly the kind of institutional movement we've been talking about, and it's happening right before our eyes.
And look at this list. You can see it right here on your screen. We've got some major players jumping into the XRP game. We're talking about 21 shares, Core XRP Trust, ProShares. These are big names, people. Then you've got Bitwise, Canary, Volatility Shares, CoinShares, Rex Osprey XRP ETF, and Teucrium. Now here's something interesting, and this is where it gets really exciting. Rex Osprey actually already has a Spot XRP ETF running. So they're ahead of the curve here, which tells us something important about where this whole market is heading. Think about it for a second. When you see this many institutional players all lining up for XRP ETFs, that's not a coincidence, future millionaires. That's a clear signal that something big is brewing in the XRP ecosystem.
So this brings up a really good question. Are we looking at additional ETFs on top of what Rex Osprey already has? That's definitely something worth keeping an eye on. But here's what I know for sure, and this is what has me really excited. We are getting so much closer to seeing these ETFs actually launch. I mean, when you see this kind of movement from the DTCC, you know we're not just talking about some distant future anymore. This is real, and it's happening soon. And here's where it gets really interesting, future millionaires. Once these XRP ETFs officially go live, I genuinely believe we're going to see XRP become the catalyst that kicks off the next alt season. Think about it. All that institutional money flowing in, all that legitimacy, all that mainstream attention. This could be the moment we've all been waiting for.
XRP open interest has suddenly flipped positive an hour after Ripple commenced the Swell event. Now, during that crash, and you remember this, right? Everyone was literally saying, it's game over for XRP. Pack it up, go home. The doom and gloom was everywhere. But then, this article drops, and when I read it, I was like, yes! This is exactly what I've been trying to tell you guys. So get this, even though XRP kept falling and everyone was panicking, smart investors were quietly doing something completely different. They were holding on to their optimism, especially with Ripple Swell coming up, which was giving people hope for a major positive shift. Here's where it gets really interesting, future millionaires. In just 1 hour, XRP's futures activity went absolutely crazy. We're talking about open interest jumping by 3.88%. That's massive. And according to CoinGlass data, there was a whopping 1.55 billion XRP locked up in active futures contracts. Think about that for a second. While the price was dropping and everyone was crying, the smart money was actually loading up like crazy. This was a complete flip from bearish to bullish activity happening right under everyone's noses. And this is exactly why I keep telling you. When you see blood in the streets in crypto, that's your cue to start buying. While retail investors are running scared, that's when the real opportunities show up. This way, you have no regrets later. Ripple President Monica Long breaks down Ripple's next chapter at Swell 2025. Take a listen to this.
We have a lot of folks watching who are ardent XRP, enthusiastic XRP army. What kind of message can you tell them about the growth plans and, what's sitting in their wallets right now?
Yeah, within Ripple, so of course we have a commercial business where we're serving financial institutions with that digital asset infrastructure. And then we also have a team that's purely dedicated to the ledger and continued innovation. I hope people been following, developers been following over the past couple of years, the amount of new features that we've put up for amendment. Next up is a lending protocol. So there's a lot of investment internally in just expanding the use cases and capabilities, and then also to bring more institutions in their use cases, like stablecoins being a great example, onto XRP Ledger. Ripple team overall, we think about the flywheel effect between utility, trust, and liquidity in XRP. And, we put a lot of work into utility.
And you know what? They get it. They're all about utility, real, actual use cases that matter. And that's exactly what we've been saying all along as XRP holders, right, future millionaires? We understand something that a lot of people in crypto still don't get. Market cap is just a number on a screen. What really matters is what the technology can actually do in the real world. Utility is everything, future millionaires, and here's proof of exactly what I'm talking about. Bitnomial just became the very first US-regulated exchange to accept stablecoins as margin collateral. But wait, it gets even better. They're launching support for RLUSD, and they're expanding their accepted collateral to include XRP. I mean, can you see what's happening here? Ever since Ripple absolutely crushed the SEC in that lawsuit, and I mean crushed them, and ever since we got this pro-crypto administration in place, it's like the floodgates have opened. The shift toward Ripple, XRP, and RLUSD has been incredible to watch. Companies that were probably sitting on the sidelines before are now jumping in with both feet. And honestly, this is just the beginning, people. We're going to see so much more of this momentum building as we move forward. The smart money is recognizing what we've known all along. XRP isn't just another crypto. It's the future of real-world utility. Boom. Just as I said, hold. Take a listen to this.
Your vendors, or you're moving your money around
because
your
it's
different
it's
locations around
better,
the world.
faster, cheaper.
Yeah.
But of course, you got to cross this threshold and get to these steps and get everything integrated. That's going to happen now. The same as it happened for kind of native crypto companies. It's not going to happen for
More
banks,
mainstream.
brokers, fintechs.
Yeah.
All these other companies, they're going to be settling with our RLUSD and everything else.
From your lips. So let's talk a little bit about the, thank you, by the way. Let's talk a little bit about the TradFi.
And here's why RLUSD is going to absolutely dominate the stablecoin game, future millionaires. It all comes down to one word: transparency. Ripple is doing everything completely above board, totally regulated, completely by the book. They're not hiding anything from us, and that makes all the difference in the world. Now compare that to USDT and Tether. I mean, come on. These guys haven't even had a proper audit. We all know what's really going on there. They just print more Tether whenever they want and use it to pump Bitcoin prices. It's like the Wild West over there. But RLUSD? Completely different story. Everything is transparent, everything is regulated, everything is legitimate. And that is exactly why I believe RLUSD is going to flip the entire stablecoin market on its head. Mark my words, RLUSD will eventually become the #1 stablecoin. And when that happens, we're going to look back at this moment and say, we saw it coming from a mile away. Stablecoins are the fuel, XRP is the engine. I absolutely loved this insight, and I think you're going to love it too, future millionaires. So everyone's talking about how USDC, EURC, and PYUSD are absolutely booming right now. But here's what most people are completely missing, and this is huge. These stablecoins are all stuck in their own little local lanes. But XRP? XRP is the highway that connects them all. Think about it this way. All these stablecoins are backed by banks, right? But they're totally siloed. They're stuck serving just their own regions, bound to their own currencies. That's where XRP comes in as the ultimate bridge connecting all of them. And every single time I see another stablecoin launch, I'm like, okay, cool, but how are you going to move that thing? Because here's the reality. All these bank-created stablecoins are going to need a bridge, and that bridge is XRP. I mean, nobody wants JP Morgan coin except JP Morgan. No other bank is going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So what happens? JP Morgan coin goes into XRP and comes out as whatever stablecoin that other bank needs. It's brilliant. Same thing internationally. Say we've got digital dollars here in the US and we need to send them to Europe. Boom. Digital dollars go into XRP, come out as digital euros on the other side. And guys, this isn't some distant future fantasy. This is happening right now with the rise of digital money. I remember back in the 2022 bear market when I was talking about CBDCs and people were like, "Psychot, that's at least 10 years away." Well, guess what? It's happening as we speak. And speaking of things happening right now, we've got a ton of countries that are literally about to flip the switch on their central bank digital currencies. This isn't some maybe someday scenario anymore, future millionaires. This is happening. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this might surprise some of you. Institutional investors are loading up on XRP and Solana at an absolutely crazy pace right now. And get this, while they're buying XRP and Solana like there's no tomorrow, they're actually dumping Bitcoin. I know, that probably sounds backwards to a lot of people who still think Bitcoin is king. But the smart money is seeing something different. They're seeing the future. And that future is utility-based cryptocurrencies like XRP. Just like I've been telling you guys for months now, institutions are finally starting to look past Bitcoin. Everyone's always chasing the next big thing, right? But here's the key difference, future millionaires. XRP actually has real-world use cases. XRP solves actual problems that exist today, and these institutional players are smart enough to see the massive technology gap between XRP and Bitcoin. Now, this article is trying to blame everything on the Fed and Jerome Powell's hawkish speech after that FOMC meeting about the December rate cut. But honestly, you can blame it on whatever you want. The real story here is that institutions are looking down the road and they're seeing a completely different future. And you know what? Even retail investors are going to start looking past Bitcoin too. I keep hearing people say, just wait until that retail FOMO comes back into Bitcoin. But guys, it's not coming back to Bitcoin. Think about it. What retail investor in their right mind is going to drop $100,000 on one Bitcoin when they could pack a massive bag of XRP for that same amount? Same thing with ETH. It's gotten way too expensive for regular people. Retail is done with these overpriced coins. And here's what makes me really excited. All these ISO 20022 compliant cryptocurrencies are still sitting at absolutely dirt cheap prices. We're talking about XLM, XDC, HBAR, IOTA, Algorand, even QNT is still affordable compared to where it's going. So when that retail FOMO wave hits again, and it will hit, they're not going to be buying Bitcoin at these prices. They're going to flood into these utility tokens that they can actually afford to accumulate. Both retail and institutions are waking up to the same reality we've known all along. So Bitcoin just slipped below that magical 100K mark, and analysts are saying it's headed even lower from here. I've been seeing a lot of chatter about Bitcoin maybe getting a small bounce before it crashes all the way down to 80K. But here's my take on this, future millionaires. I actually think Bitcoin still has one more big move left in this cycle. I'm still expecting it to hit somewhere under 150K. But here's the really exciting part. When Bitcoin starts climbing back up for that final push, it's going to drag the entire market up with it. And that, my friends, is going to be the confirmation we've all been waiting for, that we're officially entering alt season. Think about it. Bitcoin gets its last hurrah, hits that final peak, and then what happens? All that money starts flowing into alts like XRP, and that's when the real party begins. So while everyone's panicking about Bitcoin dropping below 100K, I'm over here getting excited because this could be setting up the perfect storm for alt season to absolutely explode. And here's some incredible news coming out of Japan that has me absolutely buzzing. Future millionaires! According to Japanese market commentator Udo, Japan just approved 8 non-financial companies to include XRP in their cryptocurrency holdings. Let me say that again. 8 major companies can now officially hold XRP as part of their corporate treasuries. This is huge because it shows Japan's incredibly progressive approach to digital assets. While other countries are still dragging their feet and being all wishy-washy about crypto, Japan is out here making bold moves and embracing the future. And the fact that they specifically chose XRP, that tells you everything you need to know about how they view XRP's legitimacy and long-term potential. This isn't just some random approval. This is another major milestone in XRP's journey to global adoption. Now, we don't have an exact timeline on when these companies will start adding XRP to their holdings, but make no mistake, it is happening. And here's the beautiful part, future millionaires. These companies aren't buying XRP to flip it for a quick profit. They're acquiring it for what it's actually designed to do: move money across borders efficiently. So when they buy that XRP, they're locking it away for the long haul. We're talking about 5-year lockups, 10-year lockups. This XRP is basically coming out of circulation permanently. And you know what that means, right? Scarcity. When supply gets tighter and tighter while demand keeps rising, well, we all know exactly what happens to price. Speaking of price, I've been seeing some big influencers lately like Jake Claver throwing around these short-term $1,000 predictions for XRP. And honestly,
I get why they're saying that. How do you think we actually get to those numbers? It's simple economics. Scarcity plus demand equals explosive price action. The scarcity part is already building up as we speak, but the demand? We haven't even begun to see euphoric demand yet. When that euphoria finally kicks in, and trust me, it will, we're going to witness demand levels that will blow our minds. That's when we'll see the true potential of XRP unleashed. But until that magical moment arrives, here's what we need to do. Stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together, future millionaires. All right, that's a wrap on today's video. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this incredible community. I truly appreciate each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Have an amazing night, and keep building that future millionaire mindset.